you remember the ice storm of December 2013 in Toronto? 40% of power transmission lines in the Greater Toronto Area were affected on account of the 2013 ice storm, while more than 20% of the city of Toronto's tree canopy was destroyed. I remember this storm quite vividly. I was quite affected by it. And do you remember going out and seeing tree branches that were, trees would break right while you're walking down the street, and it was quite dangerous. So I was wanted to do something about this situation. I was quite disturbed by what was happening with climate change, and I wanted to reach out to people. I know there were a lot of movements around the world for climate change, but none of these movements were addressing God. They would not mention God, and I was quite disturbed by this. You know, more than half the world believes in a creator, but nobody was mentioning God in the climate problem or solution. And you know, in fact, God is rarely mentioned on the news in general. So I put together a message in 2013, and during when the weather warmed up, I started going on the street. I made a sign. I'll show you the sign that I made. Get back farther here. So I was trying to think of a message that includes God in my message. So I put, overtaken by climate change, unite to the glory of God. So that was the message that I felt would convey the urgency of the situation and bring God into the picture. But I was also trying to have a message that was universal to all religions and all faiths, even to people who were atheists, people who didn't believe in God. So I was trying to be as universal as possible. I wasn't trying to put Christianity. I am a Christian, but I wasn't trying to put one religion above another. And so that's why my message was unite to the glory of God. Like, in view of the urgency of the situation, what should we be doing? We shouldn't be fighting with one another. So I'll read the message that I wrote in 2013, and one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because in 2025, the world is different. Some things are the same, but the problems we were dealing with in 2013 are obviously more intense, and we have new problems. We've been through a pandemic. We've we have the situation in Ukraine. There was the Black Lives Matter movement. We've been through a lot, and uh, I was going to put my message to you because um, I wanted to get feedback on how this message, is received by people now in 225. How could I make this message up to date? So this is what I wrote. Being influenced by this ice storm, but other things too. It says dramatic fluctuations in temperature is causing infrastructure to deteriorate and break down at a more alarming rate, making dangerous safety hazards for large buildings, bridges, trains, and cars traveling on pavement with holes. A city already in debt cannot afford to repair these problems, and it is becoming futile to try to keep up with the breakdown as it increases. Invasive species, contaminated marine wildlife, biohazardous waste, increasing viruses are just a few of the problems overtaking us. Fewer healthy trees are left standing as contaminated air and ultraviolet radiation reaches an even more unsafe level. Violent crime is making every neighborhood and location insecure. Human relationships and interaction is becoming impossible as people become more obstinate and unkind. So I was showing that in view of what's happening. People are not becoming nicer or becoming better people. Our relationships are, I mean, that's not true of everything, but everyone. But, it's true of a lot of people. Government has failed to keep our environment a safe place to live or contributed to a working economy. Welfare and legal systems are abused and exploited. Addressing problems to governors is usually met with a deaf ear, false reassurances, or another lack of appropriate response. Despite all these problems, some people are choosing to bring multiple children into the world, increasing the burden on everyone. Life is becoming more futile. What is the point of getting an education when there are no jobs? Why build a house when it will become unlivable? And this is my conclusion here. If we are the product of intelligent design by a creator of purpose and morality, and not the product of chance, then our creator must shortly intervene in our behalf for our continuing existence. If we really believe that, then we should be expressing that faith by uniting with one another for the glory of God. If we have pushed away our fellow man, relative, or God by our lies, disillusions, or behavior, is it not time to humbly make amends by taking responsibility and express true repentance? So in 2025, do you think this message is still up to date? I tried rewriting this whole thing, and focusing on basically two things that are really on people's minds. One is the inflation problem. And that inflation problem encompasses a lot. For example, the housing problem we've been seeing. Um, the word affordability, with the groceries, the rent, you know, all that sort of falls under the inflation category. And the other concern was the wildfires. I mean, we were seeing the smoke problem in 2023. That in GTA we didn't really see it a lot in 2024. Fortunately, is that going to come back in 2025 stronger? And of course, what happened in California just now. The flooding has been a real concern. The storms getting stronger, but these wildfires now are really, and the inflation are constantly on people's minds. So I tried rewriting this, and so then I thought I'll just going to put a couple sentences addressing the wildfires and flooding, but I would appreciate any feedback from you, and I appreciate your time watching this, and I hope that your families are keeping safe and that you're focusing on the right priorities. So again, thank you, and take care.